Hey loves, it's She and I'm back with another video. So this video is a highly anticipated one. I made a post in the group about this energy, this spirit that is masquerading around the planet. And it's posing as the divine feminine. Okay. But it's truly not. And so we're going to get down to what is going on here. What is going on because it's definitely some imposters, okay? It's some imposter syndrome that's happening on our planet. So I'm going to break that down on this video, okay? So I want to say that a lot of this has to do with Lilith, all right? Um, I know Lilith, a lot of ladies identify with Lilith. Um, and of course, you should because Lilith, her DNA is actually in all of us. And so there isn't a way for us not to identify with her. But I'm going to break down like everything. Well, not everything, but I'm going to break it down some so that you can kind of get an understanding of what is truly going on here. All right. So in the past, like when I thought about Lilith, and Lilith have different is now again I want to say before I start, like, this is not like actual people. This is spirit, okay? This is energy. But they're used as like actual people. It's like allegory. So they use people and folklore so that you can get an understanding of what's going on, okay? So Lilith can be seen like she has many different archetypes. Nehemiah, Nehersag, Niti, Mommy, Hathor, Isis, Athena, Mary Magdalene, Diana, okay, so Bridget. So there's really any goddess that is depicted with an owl. That is associated to Lilith. All right, and so because of that, I remember, um, studying Lilith and being open minded to her because I knew that the Bible painted her in this light where she was this demon, vampire goddess. And so, because of that, I was open to working with, Hecate is another of her archetypes, who I work with. So I was open, to working with her energy. But that was before I actually did my research. This is why it's so important for us as spiritual beings to do our own research and not just follow the crowd or listen to what other people do or say. We have to do what resonates with us, all right? Um, but I was just listening to other spiritual leaders who, because they said that Lilith was a part of us, she wasn't really demonic. She, you know, so, but as as I started to evolve and really start to do my own research and have downloads, what I found was pretty interesting. So I wanted to share with y'all, okay? All right. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to start in the beginning. We're going to start, and I got some notes. So I'm looking at my notes here. But we're going to start in the beginning. We're going to start with the Anunnaki. All right. So for the for those of you who don't know, Lilith is connected to the Anunnaki. Um, we'll start with Anu, okay? Anu is the ruler, like he's the Anunnaki god. These are also reptilians that you hear about. the alien beings. Okay, that's the Anunnaki. So they come from the planet Nibiru. The god of Nibiru is Anu, okay? He's the ruler of that planet. And I believe, this is just me, okay? I believe that Nibiru comes around every so often, every thousands and thousands of years. Nibiru comes into orbit with the planet Earth. And this has happened many, many times, okay? But we're going back to the beginning. So, Anu, which is considered the sky god, okay, he got into a relationship with Mother Earth, which is also called Kai, okay? Um, so when they were together, all right, this is like I said, Kai is also like considered Mother Earth in the beginning stages. Um, when they were together, there was this interdependency between the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine. They were very much in love. Okay, he honored her. She was a goddess that was honored, protected. Um, the people knew that her sacred cycles kept the wheel of life spinning, and that together Mother Earth and Father Sky held all in balance. Right. Later, they ended up having a son named Inky. And I know that a lot of you have probably heard the story of Inky and Enlil. Okay, these are half brothers. Enlil is one of Anu's son, along with, he had several children actually outside of his union with Kai. But these were all out on his planet. So these were actual Anunnaki reptilians. Inky and not. I'm sorry. Enlil and Nehemiah, which is also Lilith. All right. So these were actually reptilians. He and like again, like I said, he had several children. So he had Inky, um, and there was some issues going on their planets. I've read several different theories. Zachariah Stinson, um, if you're familiar with his work, he stated that they were they came to Earth. They came back to Earth to mine for gold because they needed that gold to repair Nibiru. So Anu, which is the ruler of Nibiru, he appointed this high council, okay, and it included his children. So it included Inky, it included Enlil, and it included Nehemiah. All right, so those were part of the high council that was sent to oversee these. Now, again, there were other Anunnaki reptilians that came along with them, but they were the ones to oversee this project of mining gold. So they all ended up coming to Earth. Some say they came through the underworld, through the ocean. So that's how they manifested. And again, this is just spirits. These are just energies. All right. Nehemiah was the chief medical officer. And if you look at today, like if you look at the symbol for the medical system, you'll see that it's two snakes going around the shaft. So that actually represents Nehemiah. All right. Um, so they came to Earth to mine for gold, to prepare for the planet. That's what Zachariah Ascension says. So I'm gonna go with that. That resonates with me. But while they were there, there was a rebellion that took place, and the Anunnaki workers quit. Okay, they went on strike. They they were like, this too much work. I'm about to go. So they decided to quit. And you had Inky and you had Nehemiah, all right, which is, like I said, also represents Lilith. They got together and they decided to create an alternate being, all right, and this being was to take over the labor of the Anunnaki. Inky suggested that they create a worker by mixing their DNA, well, mixing their DNA with the beings that were on the planet Earth. All right. So the beings that inhabited the planet Earth were considered the spark, the true divine feminine. Um, so yes, so they decided to just mix all that DNA up, and they created the first human, which is Adamu. All right. They also used the DNA from the rib of Nehemiah Lilith to create the woman, and her name is Tiamat. So this is why Lilith is in our DNA, okay, and why we all have reptilian DNA because of this gene splicing. So this is why we're all alien. We all have part aliens, okay? And we're all connected to Lilith. Now, I'm going to take it a step further. When they created, well, not yet, because this was like the first model beings. There was few other models that they created later on. So wait, I'm going to get to that later. All right. So Inky, I'm gonna go ahead and say, like, Enlil was not, like, he wasn't happy about this. He did not want them, like, creating these beings, tampering with the DNA. He was not for this at all. He did not like what Inky had did. Um, but he pretty much, I feel like he until the flood happened, he pretty much stayed out of it. But Inky was a player, y'all. He was going around and he was having sex with the humans that he created. All right. Now, even though Inky and Nehemiah Lilith, same energy, were half brother, half sister, they were also in a relationship together. So they had children. They were in an actual relationship. But Inky was going around having sex with, I mean, just being promiscuous, like, just, you know, spreading his semen and putting it in these humans that he created. So Nehemiah she didn't like that. I found this excerpt online. I'm going to read it to you. It talks about Nehemiah Lilith when she was enraged about what she had found out when she found out that Inky was actually having sex with the humans. It says Nehemiah was enraged, her pride wounded. She brewed an irresistibly delicious and intoxicating elixir full of deadly herbs. That sounds like a spell to me. All right. So as Inky drank, she cursed him. Yep, that was a spell. That's what I'm saying. That's where the beginning of witchcraft came from. He fell to the ground, cup in hand. She wanted him to suffer. He began to shrivel up and age rapidly, his skin turning a putrid yellow. And knew his father, the father to Liz and Inky, pleaded with her to end her curse and heal Inky. Inky begged Nehemiah to forgive him, to distance himself from Nehemiah's vulva. Inky, uh, Inky raised Inky arm raised I don't from her curse and was freed. Though she cured him, but she never again let herself trust men. So to me, this is where that whole hatred for men started. So she was like, like she was done. All right. And then because he had kids, he had children by the human. So later on, um, another creation, another human was created. Okay, so this was Adam. So of course that was Adamu. That was the like that was the iPhone. That was the first iPhone. Okay, and then Inky decided to create another model of human, and this is where Adam came in. All right, so he needed a consort. All right, he needed a woman for Adam because, of course, he could he could only create the males, and he needed like that female energy in order to create the females. But of course, um, Lilith, what happened? It like I told you, she was upset. She was mad. She went to the underworld. She went back to the underworld to be with Enlil. All right, and I believe they got into a relationship, and they bore children, demons, which are actually the archons. Yeah. So instead, he used. They said he captured Tiamat, and he basically used her in order to create Eve. All right, so hearing about that, Enlil, Lilith, like they was like, you know what, this is getting too far. And this may have did this happen? No, the flood came later. So yeah, they was like, this is too far. So Lilith, with her sneaky self, okay, always trying to come up on a, a scheme. She planted the sacred tree, all right, from which, and this is an expert that I'm reading. It says Lilith planted the sacred tree from which was made the nectar of immortality and the tree of knowing. I believe this is yeah, the tree of knowing. That's like the tree of life, the clip off. All right. So this is the like the good and the evil. She disguised herself as a serpent and influenced Eve. She disguised herself as a serpent and influenced Eve. Okay, the daughter and the descendant of Enki, which, like I said, this is who they created. So she tricked her to eat of the forbidden fruit. The fruit represented knowledge. So basically, Lilith came and she empowered Eve. They say empowered. She told her the truth about her existence. She told her who she really was. She told her basically like the truth about her father and how she got here, and the good and evil and all of that. She just gave her all of the knowledge. And of course, Inky didn't want this to happen. He wanted to program his humans how he wanted to program them, but here Lilith came in being sneaky, and she got to Eve before he could. So this caused a strip down in the DNA. So some kind of way with this happening, this caused a strip in the strip the DNA down to 2-strand DNA. So that's why we have the 2-strand DNA. Oh yeah, let me add, because I was gonna go back to that, but yeah, let me add this part. This is about when they created like the humans. So they took the human, like in the beginning, they took the humans that were already on the earth. They were like mammal type of beings, and they mixed this reptilian DNA. And so when they did that, that is where you get the ego. So they basically install this ego onto the body, um, to create this new human. And so they did that with the brain and the seven chakras as well. And all of that is, that's the reptilian part of us, the spine, the kundalini, the left part of our brain, that which is the ego. That is all reptilian DNA. All right. So I just had to put that in there. All right. So yes. This was when that happened. This was like the true fall of mankind, or yeah, or the humans as we know it. This is also where the true divine feminine nature became suppressed. All right, and this was intentionally done so that the humans could not be in their divine essence and know their true power. Um, and so yeah, I don't know. People are like, what? They're probably mad. Like, Lilith was responsible for the Apple incident. It was Lilith. What? But I'm telling y'all, this is and Lilith and Enlil can both be of the same. Actually, um, I personally believe that Lilith and Enlil are the same beings. It's just that it's like, again, like, these aren't actual people. It's just energy, and so you could shapeshift. And I believe that Lilith and Enlil are one androgynous being. All right. And so at that point, Lilith or shapeshifted into shapeshifted into Lilith, and tricked or empowered. I don't want to say it, well, it was a trick. Tricked Eve, all right, into biting the apple, like I said, which is the knowledge. All right. So they wanted to do this because ultimately, even though Enlil didn't like humans, he did like the fact that he was able to use them to worship him. Okay. Um, all right. Use that like a plan of global domination uh, of the earth. Like, he liked that idea. This is talking about an alchemical process within the body, but this change happened really in this mutation and this manipulation of DNA. This is what suppressed the divine essence and true power of the humans. All right, so it's almost like, and I say that they were separate beings, but it's like they were polar opposites, and they had this competition and desire to dominate and to control. Um, so that's what it was all about. Um, and I will tell you that Kai was not happy about this, okay? When she found out like what was going on, like, she was not happy with this debauchery that was going on her planet. But there was really nothing that she could do, because again, I believe, and this is just what I feel, is that as Nubaru passes by, they have to wait until like these things play out, certain things play out. So these cycles to play out, and this took a while to play out, um, and so right now we're actually at that point where the divine feminine, or that divine spark, that illumination, is actually coming back on the planet, because it's been sleeping, laying dormant for so very, 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 very long. All right. Um, so in the meantime, we have and we have Lilith, these spirits, like I said, this androgynous being, or this spirit, which is just spirits, as well as the archons, the children, their demons, which is still all of this is in our body. But they're masquerading and pretending to be the divine masculine and the divine feminine. All right. The thing is that they just have a disdain for the mother energy. Um, Lilith, I don't know if I said this part about how Lilith, he wanted to use Lilith to create like the Adam, because you know in the Bible they talked about how Lilith was Adam's first wife, but she didn't want to be on top. That was basically saying that Lilith didn't want to, she didn't want the power to go to this created human being. She didn't like, she didn't want to inhabit a body, because really they were creating bodies, but they were putting the spirit in the bodies. So that's what they were doing. And she was like, I don't want to be associated with this human. Yuck. Like, I'm too good for that. No. So that's what that was. And like I said, she went back to the underworld. They said the Red Sea, which I do believe that it's the ocean. That is like the underworld. Um, so they are actually, what they did though, eventually, um, that spirit is like it is on the planet, like it is with inside of us. Even though in the beginning, I guess she didn't want to be the consort to Adam. She didn't want that, but she did, because what they want is the power. They want to be reverent as a god. That's what Enlil wanted. That's why Enlil is also depicted as Yaldabaoth or Yahweh. Um, like I said, it's so many, like, y'all, cause it can get confusing because they go by so many names. But Enlil is Yaldabaoth or Yahweh in the Bible. So he is the God, the God that they talked about in the first the New Testament of the Bible. So he wanted to be worshipped. That was his thing. So does Lilith. Like I said, it's the same. It's the same energy. Like, they want to be worshipped. They don't want to just be some humans. They want to be worshipped as gods. So they put that spirit off into these humans. They attach to the lower chakras. I always talk about that even on my Patreon. Now we're talking about that. So they attach themselves to the lower chakras, and they also reside the ego that is a part of this Enlil and Lilith. That they're okay. The ego. They also took it a step further with their agenda. It says here that, of course, we know that they use religion. Later on, they use religion, the money system, government, all of that to rule and prey upon the human host, which is us, to carry out their agenda while appearing as a structure that we might benefit from. See, they're always so very sneaky. Um, so to to add insult to injury, okay, they changed up our environment too. All right. Um, the goal was to lower our frequencies so that we can stay trapped. All right. And they use the moon to do that. And y'all can look this up. Like I'm saying, like please do your own research, but look up lunar matrix. All right. So this was them dragging the moon satellite. Check out my video. The moon is a satellite to the earth. All right. It was not here. They moved it here. All right. And they used it as a base of operation and for transmitting lunar broadcasts for achieving magnetic field manipulation and mind control. All right. So this is what they use to lock us in this planet, which is considered now a prison planet. So because they did this, they're able to gain control over the divine feminine expression of the earth. All right, so they got control over her. They're keeping that sleep. Um, and so yeah, y'all look up the lunar matrix, and that is why people are like, you see people in the spiritual community and they're like, the moon is the divine feminine. I'm doing these rituals to the moon because it represents the goddess, especially the dark goddess, the dark feminine energy. No, ma'am, that is not real. And this is my perspective. Everybody has their own truths. But this is my perspective, and this is also what I see as well, which is going on the planet. And these are also the downloads that I have received as well. This is the not the true divine feminine. In fact, the true divine feminine is connected to the sun and not the moon. So yeah, so I'm saying, like, Lilith, girl, it's almost like she is jealous of the true divine feminine, so she's pretending to be her. She's created all these other archetypes. If you look throughout history, ancient Sumeria, even the Egyptian, if you look in Egypt, she's played herself in different roles to be worshipped. Ashera is also another archetype of Lilith. All right. And Ashera was married to Samuel, all right, who is Enlil, Yaldabaoth. All right. So again, like, you have this story playing out constantly. Lilith, Ashera is responsible for the Jezebel spirits. Okay. So yeah, y'all, you'll just have to, like, when you do your research, you'll find like all of this stuff out, and you'll realize like what is going on. So as a result of like this moon locking us down, our health suffers, and our spiritual vitality fades even more and more and more. So it may seem like we're doing these moon rituals and things with the moon and we're getting better, but really it's continuing to lock us down into this matrix. All right. So yeah. So because of this, what is going on, um, it's creating, because it's pretty much like a curse. All right. It's like a curse. Um, and it gives off this false liberation, and it creates like excuses. It creates like this blame thing, like where the blaming, like all of the ills that that women experience, they blame it on men, and then you have men blaming women, with the whole Eve situation that they put in the Bible. So it's like it created this big division, and you have all this blaming going on. All right. And so really, honestly and truly, both men and women, both the masculine and the feminine, they are suffering because of this repression of this divine feminine, which is the divine spark. The divine spark which is inside of us is, that is the true divine feminine. Okay. And it's in all of us. It's in males and females. All right. And because of this repression, it's making the ego consciousness, which is very masculine, grow more and more and more and more. And that is why we have this patriarch society today. Um, but really, what's running it behind closed doors is this androgynous being, Lilith, and Enlil. Like, they're connected to the uh the is it Baal? I'm gonna say Baal. Um, even what's that deity? Baphomet. Baphomet. So when you see like these occultists using this, this is who, like, and this is, where the whole Lucifer or whatever comes from, Satan, satanic, all of that, which Satan and Lucifer are two different beings, but you would see today, like in the music industry, even if you look at the Catholic Church, they worship the Black Madonna. That is Lilith. That is a form of Lilith. So it's you still see it being used today. Um, so it creates a lot of imbalance, y'all. It creates a lot of imbalance, and it's not good. But where we're headed, though, we're headed to where uh, Kai is coming back. It's her time now. She's coming back into. She's Nubaru is coming back. So it's almost. I feel like it's a love story. Okay, it's like Anu is coming back for Kai. He's coming back to rescue her because it's time now. The time has passed. So he is coming back to rescue his divine feminine, to wake her up. And so now this energy is coming back to the planet, which is why you see this kill shot, the jabby, the that they're wanting you to get that to keep you suppressed and to keep you locked down so that you cannot connect to that spark. And that is your intuition and everything coming online. All right. So if we want to make sure like we succeed, if we want to be balanced, all right, um, if we want to regain that feminine power within ourselves, now it's no better time than now. And that's why we got to work on that heart. We got to work on that heart. Um, we have to bring that awareness and that power back so that we can heal ourselves and transform. So this is the end of the video. I'll be talking more about this on my Patreon. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that this was insightful. I hope that it sparked something in you. Please make sure that you leave a comment. Let me know how you feel about this. And I'll see y'all on the next video. Bye.